on a scale of 1 to 10, how likely are you to buy this product in the next 6 months? Fascinating, because you've probably done research on your ideas. Ask customers. People always want to hear this. Venture capitalists and investors always want to hear, got to get some consumer data. So you go out there and you get a group of people and say, okay, here's my new thing. How do you like it? People are usually, well, very nice. They go, yeah, that rocks. And then you say, well, how many of you are going to buy it? And they go, yeah, I'll buy it. But see, that's an artificial consumer moment. It doesn't really replicate what real life is about. So part of what we have to do is develop consumer testing methods that help us replicate real buying behavior, because that's where the rubber meets the road. Because people have a resource they don't like to part with. Do you really like to buy new stuff? Do you need any more new stuff? The dude that just got the micro drone says, yeah, man, I can't wait to fly this stuff. Okay, so I get it. But the thing is that people make choice decisions based on what? Their wants and needs. But they're fickle about it. So interestingly in the data, usually what a company will do is, if you said on a scale of 1 to 10, 0, 1, or 2, like, I definitely won't buy it, then people go, okay, the idea kind of sucks. They probably won't buy it. But we track these people who said 0, 1, 2 on these items, and guess how many times they actually bought it? 33% of the time. When they said they definitely would not buy something, they ended up doing it. Now, the way we project revenue, which then, if you're in a venture that hasn't got revenue, and you're projecting what someone will buy, what does projecting revenue become in the venture development world of finance? Somebody's got to know this, you all don't get fired. What does your projection of revenue turn into when you go to sit in front of an investor? Who said that? You're the CEO tonight. You're the CEO. So everybody send her your resume, you're going to be working with her. You got to get this real quick, because when you project what you think consumers will do and buy, that revenue curve, in most cases, is fiction, right? Which is why I like to go back down the chain and say, what's the consumer behavior we're trying to influence? That, my friends, is a much better justification to the person you're justifying your revenue to, because they're turning that into a multiple based on valuation, which could change your life. I've seen it happen in a blink of an eye where someone goes, what's your revenue projection? They said it, someone figured out what they were worth, and they didn't understand for the next question, so how does someone use your product? That's the first clue that someone's trying to isolate you from the herd, because now I can devalue your product and get a better deal from it. So one of the things that's fascinating is on the people who said 7, 8, 9, 10, they definitely would buy, that's how we discuss volumetrics. That's how big companies like a PepsiCo or a 3M or an Apple will project how many new cell phones will we sell. How many people just hate the new Apple 5C, all the colors? Now it's interesting, I don't see anybody really responding. You like it. You notice how the press is absolutely slaughtering it before it ever launched? Like, that was the dumbest ass thing Apple ever did. And I'm sitting back going, this is hilarious. I can't wait to watch this arm wrestling contest. Because you notice how Apple was really quiet about it? Because they'd already done the consumer testing to show that this generation and younger, particularly mobile young kids, this was the perfect solution. So the 40-year-old idiots who were sitting there judging Apple's moves never understood the strategy, never did the data, and didn't look at consumer behavior. They looked at it from their lens and went, this is what I hate it myself. I wouldn't buy it. Well, who the hell are you? Right? A data set of 1 is ridiculous, number 1. And number 2, unless you're willing to buy all of your new product yourself and call that a sales spike, it don't count. Right? Joe. But the funny part about it is that product has sold a ton, and Apple's laughing all the way to the bank because it hit a segment that didn't know how to respond. But what's really interesting is when they make a volumetric expectation, that's how we determine whether we're on valuation or under valuation. When I launched Baked Lays, the requirement by PepsiCo, I had to borrow $56 million. I had to raise that capital, part equity, part debt. But I literally had to create a separate company because they hated this idea. I'll get back to this in a minute. It took me 2 years to convince them that a baked snack food, think about it. You're thinking, it's baked, not fried. How complicated could that possibly be? What would it take 2 years to argue that point? It took me 2 years to convince them that the conversation about baked snacks was actually the right conversation to be having. But the funny part is that's how they project. In our first year, we had to hit $100 million. I went, let's see, $100 million, $239 a bag. Oh shit, I gotta make a lot of this stuff going. But the funny part is, that was our goal. So it describes our valuation, describes our goal, we know what our costs are, we can build our plan, right? So we go and talk to customers, 7, 8, 9, definitely will buy. But guess what we found out in the study? Over 6 months, what percentage of if this is what companies do to project revenue and valuation, then we better figure out the mathematical accuracy of this method to determine our success. So what percentage of the people do you suppose who said we definitely would didn't? 50 flipping percent. 50. Not like, plus or minus 10%, plus or minus 20%. It was 50 on 100 different products, not just mine, 100 different common products that people know and love. And that twists you up a little bit, doesn't it? It's sort of like, oh God, we're working hard on this stuff. We're trying to get all our tech together. Not this is the tech, but I'm thinking, also we're thinking about customers. People are asking us all these salient questions about our business model, blah, 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 how much you're going to sell. And guess what? The people that you're trying to get at, to the inertia of doing nothing, is bigger by 50% than the great stuff you created. Kind of ticks you off, don't it? You're working hard. You like to make a commercial like, okay, people, look up, listen up. We've worked our asses off here for 3 years in this dark place, and we want you to buy some of our stuff, okay? Can you just get with it, buy it for us so we can get all our lives? You didn't have to work this hard. We love it. You should love it too. So do a little exercise and see how well you capture the essence of what does it take to get someone to try your product. It'll be a blast. But your point about sun chips is this. When we ask people about sun chips, we had the baked ones. And people were going, what? No, I thought it was baked. And I'm confused because I'm like a tech guy. I'm like, how can these people not know that it's baked? Turn the bag over, read the label, dude. And people just weren't reading the label. Of course, most people don't know. For example, here's a great question. How many grams of fat should you have in your diet every day? You saying
70, 75?
Are you saying with some confidence? How do you know? He read an authoritative place, or he Googled it or something. How accurate do you suppose that is to reality? What do you suppose is the error and variance between that number and your true need for your fat grams every day? I like how you said probably. These are great phrases, and I appreciate your spirit, because it's interesting in the world of the entrepreneur. The answer to any question isn't an assumption. An answer to every question. It's very simple to show. I love this one. There's only one black and white question in the entire universe. And that is, if I take this pen and I let it go, what happens to it? It drops. I do this business all the time. Do this 100 times, report the data. And they do it. I Dr. Stamp, 100 out of 100, R squared of 1. Beautiful, man, it works every time. You see, this is the only thing we know for certainty. Because the day I let the pen go and it floats, this lecture's over, we got bigger shit to worry about. So like the movie Inception, wake up every morning, drop something and say, hey, life's good, well, all systems go. But after that, the answer to any question in the universe is, it depends. And it depends on a very important element of how we communicate what we're trying to get across, and that's context. So everybody gets their context how? How do you get the context you have for this world? Experience, and you process all the sensory data that you take in your life. Now, it would be fun to estimate if you knew during your day, are you eating 70 grams of fat? Probably more than 20. The answer to that, Raleigh, probably is it depends on which day, which diet, how you feel, what your mood is, whether you're busy, whether you're not. It's all over the place, right? So the cute part about this is that the people perceive sun chips to be healthy and baked because of something really surreal. That's the packaging. Because it's sun chips. It has a picture of the sun on it. People think it's sun baked. And there's a picture of the whole wheat star, like grains of wheat waving in the wind. And that signals to somebody that it's whole grain. So therefore, if it's whole grain, it's better for you. Another goofy fallacy between white wheat and whole wheat. Hilarious argument. We'll talk about that later over beer, which is wheat-based, and we'll have some of that. But the funny part about it is that people perceive it by simply the packaging. It influences their purchase decision more so than flipping the bag over, reading it, and then remembering the diet book that said 70 grams of fat for the day, which is not a bad estimate, by the way, but for a big strapping guy like you probably need 100, okay? Oh, we have to balance that with how active are you on a scale from 1 to 10. Yeah. So that will modulate the answer. See, all these things are very complicated, but they can be isolated because they really have an effect. I'm surprised, and baked sun chips is wonderful, but another $100 million revenue opportunity completely is gone despite the tech because of the sensory perception of the consumer behavior. We couldn't get over the inertia. We literally go parking this one. We couldn't get over our biggest customer, and that was ourselves. Because the easiest thing for any customer to say to you about your new product or service is, no thank you, don't need it, don't want it, thank you for playing. And that's really frustrating after a certain while. Well, the funny part about baked lace was, and the argument was, to begin with, was I thought, well, the trends are saying, the data's going, people are eating too many calories. I worked on NutraSweet in my doctoral work. I've been a part of low-fat foods for a long period of time. I thought, maybe it's time to attack a category that really doesn't have an alternative. Because what do they say? Look for a well-established market. And Frito-Lay personally sells $9 billion worth of snack food. They have 7 separate billion-dollar brands. Doritos is a billion-dollar brand. Cheetos, billion-dollar brand. Regular yellow bag Lay's, billion-dollar brand. Gargantuan, solid markets, no second-place competitor. It's a great place for an innovative solution because you've got brand awareness. Speaking of brand awareness, this is a great study we did. We took our product, yellow bag Lay's, scale of 1 to 10 on how well do you like it. People 7, 8, love it. You take Publix, regular Publix, generic brand potato chips, it gets like a 4 or a 5. Because people go, it's like Publix, who are these people? And they look at the product and they say, well, it's got some green spots and some black spots, and the Frito-Lay, well, that tastes really good. Well, then you take the product out of the Publix bag, I kid you not. Take the product out of the Publix bag, float it in the Lay's bag, reseal it up, give it to a customer and say, now try this one. And they'll give it a 7 or an 8. What happened to the tech there? Tech was completely invisible and non-sequential to the consumption process. Now you're saying, well, Jeff, that's just potato chips. But you know that old line, Ruffles, but you can't eat just one? That's actually very true. Because there's a unique combination of salt and oil that I could put in any food, and you'll really eat more than one. Why? Not because you get addicted to it from an addiction standpoint. You are compelled to eat more. We call it volume consumption dynamics, because you do one very important human thing. You salivate. If you want to have somebody tell you after you cook a meal for them, that was a great meal, get them to salivate just before they sit down to eat. Give them something a little appetizer, something salty. And if you do that, they'll eat what you put in front of them, and they'll thank you for it. This is a hardwired thing. If you want to eat less, all you have to do is take a teaspoon of honey about 30 minutes before you eat a meal, and eat that first. It'll literally shut down your satiety, your interest in eating. Or 2 or 3 squares of like a Hershey chocolate bar, even what's even better. A lot of people don't like chocolate, but that works just as well. So there are very interesting scientific cues to our consumption, and it doesn't matter whether it's a new car or what else. By the way, the fun part about Tesla is when the engine is quiet, but we're making a sports car. The problem we had at work, we got asked this question, and I thought it was a brilliant question. How important is it in your sensory perception of your world as a cool dude driving your sports car to have that sound? Ever get that excited when you sit in a golf cart? Right? And of course, a Prius. I mean, come on. What, 0 to 60 in 3 days? I mean, come on. So the fascinating part about it is, what is the role of sound? Now, there's a lot of high tech to get a Tesla off the ground and get it out the door. But the biggest consumer adoption question was the sound. Something inherently very, very non-technical, but became very complicated to solve because of what? The inertia for the customer to go, you know, I love that cool thing, but I'm going to do it. That's everything to do. It's not that they go, no, thank you forever. They go, no, thank you. I'll wait till my adoption hurdle gets better in my favor. That's the cool part about switching behavior. I got to get the adoption hurdle down so that you will switch to something else, because you will do what you're going to do until something else comes along. It's really kind of funny. Newton's 3 laws of motion about how things organize in the universe are actually very accurate as marketing laws. Probably don't remember Newton's 3 laws of motion. Okay. The first one is force is equal to mass times acceleration. F is equal to ma. Mass is people's desire. You've got to get people's interest and desire for trial, and you get a lot of mass momentum, your business will just roll. Got to get that. The second one is that once an object is in motion, it stays in motion until something else changes it. So people will do what they are doing, and people will have very interesting behavior. They will spend every available dollar to them until their dollars are gone. You make more money, you'll spend it. As long as you keep moving up the chain, you will always constantly be absorbing and spending all the money you do. Customers do the same thing with their spending habits every month. And the second thing is every moment of time that you have free, you will spend it doing something extra. So as time frees up, you use it. You say, oh, I wish I had a lot of free time. Funny part about it is once you get it, you just use it. And the third one is for every reaction, there's an equal and opposite reaction, which is very true. You make a really cool product or a service, what are you supposed to see in our societal friends? Someone will try to do the opposite and compete with you. So the natural world and the marketing world in many ways operate under the same guise, and that is the unseen things that make that happen. And for Baked Lays, what the big argument was, hey dude, we like fry some stuff, like $9 billion worth. We thank you, Sparky, for all your energy, but we don't bake anything. It's not our business model to bake. And I said, guys, come on, people are getting heavy. We need to give people an alternative nutritional choice. And they said, well, if you fry it, we'll talk about that. So what did they do first? Their first stab in this area was to do the first thing was fry it and then create a really cool fryer that then sucks the oil out of it. Then to McDonald's, they take the French fries and the French fry thing and they pull it up. And if you kind of like got pissed, they shake that thing up and the oil's going everywhere. And there's just some 60-year-old pouring salt out and that look at it. You're like, yeah, then you're like, oh, I wonder how old that oil is, right? Well, they actually created a high-tech gizmo that fries the chips in the exact same thing. They come in a belt, they go down under the oil, and they come out, and then this hood comes down, and it sucks the oil out. So there is a thing called Lay's Light. You've probably seen it. It says 1/3 the fat of regular chips. And for some people, 1/3 the fat shifts the needle, and they go, okay, that's good for me. 1/3 the fat, good. And this thing like sucks the oil out. And it's pretty like high tech, and the scientists were really creating this thing. And it was bizarre, but I thought we needed more. So then they had some other scientists at Frito-Lay. Of course, people compete against each other inside Frito-Lay. And they created a fake fat. It was called Olestra. Anybody see the product called Wow? Procter & Gamble and Frito-Lay were both working on this fake fat. And we actually leveraged Procter & Gamble. We didn't use our own technology. We actually used Procter & Gamble's technology. Why? Who's Procter & Gamble? It was a competitive strategy. Procter & Gamble is a huge gargantuan company that has snack interests. It's called what? Pringles. So we didn't want them using the fake fat in their own product, so we did a licensing deal where we got the exclusive rights to it, even though we had our own. Kind of a twisted deal. I can't believe we actually got that deal done. It turns out, anybody ever had the Wow product? It sucked. Okay? Why? Do you remember why the product was so bad back there way in the back? Hey, you know what? You got my props for a man who can say that in a mixed company like that, so cold and so proud. I love it. Thank you very much. Yes, that was the technical term. When you ate this fat, literally, you did not know when it was going to leave your body. And the sad part about, okay, this is funny because Procter & Gamble's hilarious. They invented this, and what does Procter & Gamble make a lot of? Soap, right? Detergent. The problem is the stuff that came out, actually this oil, this fake fat, even by itself, if you got it on clothes, it stains and you can't get it out with any of Procter & Gamble's detergent. So this became a real mix. We had people on our test panels that would like refuse to eat because if you walk down the hall, they go, oh, okay, I'll be back. Right? And it was true. It was really sad. And I got told, you can do your little bake thing because we put all this money and investment. We got so much invested in this. We'll let you use the shelf space for Baked Lays until we launch ours. We'll give you about a year's time, and we'll take yours out. Well, I'm very proud and obviously way too competitive, but Wow was gone, and my product's been on the market for 12 years with no competition. But the funny part about it is that once I made a baked chip, what is the idea of the baked chip? My operating principle as a scientist, low fat. Low fat is good for you. One of the things that we did is we bought the Smart Food brand name. We acquired it. I thought smart food was my ticket. Ever seen the smart food? The black bags of white cheddar popcorn? They rock. I mean, it really rocks. And I thought, it's smart for you, smart for your body, smart food. How's that for my people? Well, I thought it was pretty cool. Turns out, when we tested the idea for the consumption behavior of the consumer, none of that shit mattered. It wasn't about smart food, because I never asked a really important question. What is a snack food's role in your diet? See, no one had asked this question. I ask people at Frito-Lay all the time, why do people eat snack foods? They go, Jeff, don't ask those questions. Just go figure out how to sell more, right? So what do you suppose is the role of snack food in your life? These are all good ideas, but we're not right on it. And it's great, because part of your job as a great entrepreneur is to observe the behavior of the consumers around you in almost any category. My job here tonight is I can get you to look at every shopping and interface opportunity that you want in commerce, and you look at it from a different point of view. It'll help you with whatever it is you're working on. What do you suppose?
So there's different situational cues. That if you're watching TV and you see that on it triggers, you saying, oh, that would be good. What's the reward? It's the satiation. It's having something in your belly.
Oh, you said the magic word though. You did the ultimate it depends answer, right? All these cues, but you hit the one that really matters. It was the word started with an R. What was the word you said? Reward. We look at snacking as a reward. How many have a bad day and yeah, I really need something, right? Or the cue was where we discovered this was when we watched females in the kitchen. Think of your moms. How many of your moms, when they're cooking dinner, will snack on something while they're cooking, right? Because the reason is they start to cook things, they salivate, and so they have to satisfy that, and they go, I deserve this, I'm having something. Have a glass of wine, have a little something while I'm working, and it's a response that we develop as a behavior we expected of ourselves. So the funny part about it was, if it's a reward, do you want to reward yourself with something low-fat? Low-fat is kind of a punishment you give yourself for having overeaten before. It's kind of anti-reward. So now I'm screwed because I sold this business to my investors, which, by the way, I raised $56 million because when you're going to make a machine to make a baked snack food, you don't go to bakingsnackfoodEquipmentRUs.com and just order one. And if you're lucky, you have to go make your own micro drum. Okay? We had to literally invent the machines to make the product because after I went $1 million, $239, I could make 50 pounds a day in my lab. But now we had to scale that thing and figure out how to make 1,000 or 5,000 pounds an hour so we could feed the nation. But all of a sudden we got all this, we have $56 million invested, and we have to make $100 million the first year to even do the deal, which I agreed to. Oh, by the way, in PepsiCo's due diligence, you don't actually get a year to hit the $100 million sales mark. You don't get that. You get 8 weeks. And what do? They take store receipts for 8 weeks, and then they project, will you hit $100 million? That's hard terms to meet. So now I'm doubly screwed because now I got to figure out when to launch it so I can hit the curve. Because why would they kill a product after 8 weeks if you don't get the right trajectory to make $100 million? You think Frito-Lay can stand a public failure in the press? Why do you suppose all these companies are a little nervous about when we're going to launch, when we're going to launch? And when Apple just boldly walked out, you think Apple makes an off-the-hip decision? Let's put colors and plastic on our phones. That'll knock them out. No. They knew exactly what they were attempting to do because they had actually gone through the effort. So when we were doing this, it was fascinating. I could get no money to test my principle or my concept. We were trying to get that first seed money to test the concept. No one would give me any money to test my little research project. Investors say, I'm not going to fund your hobby because the way Frito-Lay and the big companies figure out is on revenue. And how do you project revenue? Well, you take data on disappearance. So if you ever want to do something in a category that's like yours, I go into the grocery all the time. I take a black permanent marker, and I go into a little dot on the back of every bag on the shelf, and then I walk away, and I come back the next day and count them. And the next day I come back, I count them. I collect my own disappearance data because I couldn't afford to buy the data. And I had to be able to present this to management that I actually had collected this data. The other thing is I knew women were my target audience, so what I did was I looked for women that were my target audience. I'm walking around the building one day and I'm going, wait a minute, we had a whole big office with cubicles with 300 females working in there. And we had a whole division, or just like 90% of the women in this division, or people in this division were females. And they had a desk. So I did this. I took a 1 pound bowl that would hold 1 pound of my prototype product, and I'd walk up and say, "Oh, you're not that my talking about." I'd walk up and I'd say, here's a new product. Just enjoying it. Just a gift." And I'd put it in the bowl, and then every hour I'd come by, take the bowl and weigh it, and see how much they ate. Now, the rule was to play the game of disappearance data, which our company uses by how many bags someone sold in a market, and they get all this UPC data code. They spend a lot of money. I just took the units off my graph and just said, this is my disappearance curve over time, and I faked it. It was a big-ass lie, but hey, I had to do what I had to do, and I could prove that people liked the product. But what I found out was no one ever asked me. I never said this is a low-fat product. I just put the product in the bowl and let them eat it. Because if I told them it was low-fat, guess what? They wouldn't eat it. My hypothesis was I can create the tech to solve this big problem that everybody says they need. But the funny part about it is, if I told them what my idea was, the consumers didn't agree. So if it's a reward, what do you suppose is the #1 benefit that the product has to have? Great taste. Great taste. Great taste drives snacking behavior. Anybody been to an Olive Garden before? You sit down, what's the first thing you get? Breadsticks and a salad. How much do you love those breadsticks? I created those breadsticks for Olive Garden. And the magic of those breadsticks were, what's the point of why you're there? Well, if Olive Garden is a fast food Italian restaurant concept, what the hell is fast food Italian? Anybody here Italian? A good Italian family? They stand around the kitchen and talk and yak? Is Italian food fast food? Hells no. Go tell your mom, "Mom, I'm going to open a fast food Italian restaurant." She'd slap you. She'd say, "What the hell's wrong with you?" Right? So they need time to make a good sauce. Right? You hear something, it takes time to make a good sauce. So when you sit down at a good Italian restaurant, it takes like 20 minutes for anything to happen. So I had to fill that gap with something. I said, let's fill it with people salivating. And they looked at me like I was stupid. But I win because how much of you like the breadsticks? 95% of all people who go to Olive Garden go back again. Why? The breadsticks. Not the sauce. I'm not even Italian. Okay? So the funny part about it is that there's many ways to get to the consumer behavior that drives your business forward. And despite the fact that I love science, literally I love the latest thing, but if I can't get a behavior that I'm looking for, I can't do the most important thing an entrepreneur has to know how to do. And that is what? What's your job as an entrepreneur? To do what? What are you really creating? And how do you know you created sales? That's actually the effect of this thing I'm looking for. No, value is a construct perceived by the consumer. What's that? I'm sorry? A brand is a personality that helps drive what I'm looking for. A customer behavior is the precedent to what I'm looking for. Desire is also a characteristic of what I'm looking for. The thing is, I need to get you to really realize that our job as entrepreneurs is to invent transactions. We have to invent a transaction. How does a transaction happen? What is a transaction? What is the definition of a transaction? Let's try it. I noticed that you have some bracelets in. I have a bracelet as well. I love to collect bracelets. I will buy any one of the bracelets that you'd like to sell to you for $20. I just demonstrated. Give it applause. We just got to do that. Now, by definition, this man right here, your name, Luke, is the best entrepreneur I've met in this room yet because he has what? Sales. He sold some shit to me. Now, let's vote. Who got the better of the deal? I paid $20 for this Heineken rubber-ass bracelet. I said he could pick anyone he wanted. He went through his inventory and said, good job. Was it Luke? Yeah. Good job, Luke. At least it matches my other one somewhat reasonably. I just bought this one off of a student just the other day. From Amsterdam. Oh, well now my value prop just went up. It's from Amsterdam. Good job. Now, how many of you think he got the better deal?
I bet you would have paid 40.
Oh, I love this now. So let's dissect what entrepreneurship really is. His job is to invent and create a transaction, which he did because he recognized my consumer desire, and we engage in a process of exchanging resources. Because the definition of entrepreneurship is a process of creating value through the unique combination of resources in order to pursue an opportunity. Because how much did you pay for this? Free? Well, let's just kind of factor into the cost to carry of his trip to Amsterdam and all the reefer he had to smoke in order to get this thing in the first place. We've all been there. We get it. So let's just say he spent $5 acquiring this bracelet. He paid $5 for all of his resources. He did a transaction to get the consumer behavior he wanted. He wanted me to have it, so I bought it because he said, now it comes from Amsterdam. Now I appreciate it. I paid $20 for it. What's his net profit from his effort? $15. So now what's he getting to do? Will $15 get you more plane tickets to Amsterdam? No, but you can go online, buy more of these, and tell people, I was in Amsterdam once. Right? So he can continue the business. So our job is to create not only the first transaction, but sustainable sets of transactions. That's our job. And most finance people, they're really not to say that, but that's usually what they're after. Now, back to the question, who got the better part of the deal? See, a transaction is an exchange of set of resources for which a consumer perceives they'd rather give up some of their resources, money, of something you value and recognize. He saw that $20 bill like a shot out of the dark. He went, I didn't wake up this morning thinking I was going to make $20 today, but now you're in business. And I needed something from him. But the question is, what is pricing? What is pricing? Perceived value, but assigned by someone who perceived it and analyzed it. But what's it based on? I'm sorry to be very specific about these things, but I don't want anybody to be confused by where we're going, by anything. Yeah.
Perceivably what someone would pay for.
What someone is willing to pay for. So here's the interesting question. Why do you suppose I would have paid $40? Where do you suppose my consumer behavior is that I would do such an outlandish thing? It's only worth $5 flipping. Ooh, I want to make a point. I'm standing in front of all of you from social sufficiency point of view, and if I don't turn this deal, I look what? Glad you said silly. I appreciate your niceness, but I can take it, man. Just say you've been a dumbass, okay? You make a bold statement, you can't come through it, you lose your credibility. And in the social circle, what does that mean? Jeff Stamp sucks, and you'd be on the blackboard when I walked away. Couldn't even make a deal. Some kind of entrepreneur here is going to make a deal with a student. What are you going to lose? You denied the man! Yeah, okay, right. But the funny part is what Luke didn't do is he didn't do resource discovery. He doesn't know I have $200 in here. So to prove a point, I don't want the $200. I want the math. Now who got the better deal? You want to try it again? Oh, see, now you have discovery. Now you want to do the deal again. Wow, okay, you must be like a politician or something like that. But the funny part about it is that we have to discover what is the resource pressure that someone has to solve either the problem or the need that they want, because I had to turn the transaction. Now, if Luke decides after it's a stamp, you know, a nice demonstration, I had it back because I did get it at Amsterdam, and this girl gave it to him. She watched, she was great, and I remember her. And I don't want, you know, she said, I'll never talk to you again, but I'm hanging on to this because it's my image. I'm just making all that up, right? It's all true. I'll give it back to you for $25. Okay, good. So I get to keep it. And you know what's neat about it is I have another story. I buy stuff from students all the time. I have a collection, and I tell the stories of these things because now people, I will never forget Luke. Now I become loyal to Luke because we did something that brings me a positive, reinforced experience. I liked what I bought. Because this concept of a win-win, there's no such thing. Quit using the term, oh, it's going to be a win-win. See, the win-win only happens for a fleeting microsecond. At that moment, he said, yeah. And I said, okay. And I handed him the dollar bill, and he gave me the bracelet. And the moment we let the money go, boom, the status quo changed. There's only that equilibrium for the moment of the transaction. Now comes the really important, cool thing. Buyer's remorse, seller's remorse. And who's going to win? One of my favorite friends, she always says, you know, women and men argue differently. Women are much more aggressive and meaner than men are. Men will say, hey, you're an asshole. And he goes, you're an asshole. And we like duke it out. We punch each other and go have a beer. Right? We go get Luke first because he's been after that. He knows all the good places. What do women do? Women start with the words. They get under each other's skin and they keep going and going and going and going. And she says, we'll argue until somebody gets an eating disorder. That's how you decide who wins. The ladies laugh, the guys are man. That's the difference between consumer behavior, and it's real. So as you look at your customers, look at that point, because the win-win is only for a second, and now Luke's going, darn, he was trying to prove a point. I could have made $100, $200. Now who's popular? I am. I got the good deal. I took advantage of you. But then Luke would go, you know what? It really wouldn't be right for me to take $100 for that. That would have been bad on my part. So part of his decision to take the 20, despite the fact that he could have got the 40, is his sense of social value in this exchange, which I respect. I've had students literally jam and figured it out on the fly and took me for a couple $100 and took to the end of my billfold, and I had to go to somebody like, give me $5, shut me out. And then he would cave and think that was funny because he'd think he got me. And I said, no, I would have went an hour. I'd have found where's the damn ATM machine? I would get some more money, right? So the fun part about it is all these dynamics are very, very valuable in how you present your buying proposition. Your buying proposition isn't micro drone. The idea here for this idea isn't the fact that it's micro, isn't that it's small. That's not what made him buy that. He thinks part of why he bought this is because it's little. But we're going to explore that after we do our exercise. Now we have pizza, right? We don't see people eating pizza. So are they going to go get the pizza? Oh, just beer. And how long do we have? Till 8? As I heard, till 8? Is that okay? Is that cool? Are you okay? I mean, is this valuable? Is this okay?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. I get into this stuff because I really, after 9 companies, get to the point where it doesn't matter what the category it is, the behaviors of what you're trying to accomplish literally are all the same, which is why it's cool that you're an incubator, because you can help each other understand the consumer behavior of the core target audience. I may not be able to understand your programming or why you're doing what you're doing. I mean, this is intriguing to me. A certain and my mind just flips around in circles because I'm like, that's cool. I could never make one of those. So I can understand that, but I would go to, well, what does it do? So here's what I want to do. I want everybody to get a beverage, drink it really fast, get another one, okay? And then take a piece of paper. Let's do a little exercise. I love this exercise. I do it with thousands of people every year. And that is, we call this the email challenge. And the email challenge is a really fun exercise. I even had A.G. Lafley, the president and CEO of Procter & Gamble, do this. I'll tell you what he did. But here's the scenario, okay? I'm in Gainesville. We're at the coffee shop. It's a busy day. There's no seats except one sitting right next to you. I come in, I go, hey, can I sit down and have my coffee? You go, oh, of course, man, no problem. We sit down, and in like 20 seconds, you realize, snap, this guy is the perfect customer for my new business. Or if you have an existing business, don't think this is an entrepreneur exercise for newbies. I do it with every company I ever work with. This is a point of entry exercise for every customer that walks in our door. And I want you to do the following. Dear Jeff, it was a pleasure to meet you in the coffee shop yesterday. And then after that, I want you to write, with 100 words or less, just a few lines, I want you to sell me. I want you to tell me what you're doing and get me to pick up the phone and want to talk to you about a transaction. See if you understand that from what we've talked about, if you can infer the important parts of the 5 laws. As a matter of fact, I said all 5 of them in my conversation to see if I could seed that awareness. I want you to spend just 10 minutes or so over beer. Write down your email, because this does happen. You will have a point in your life, sitting on an airplane, sitting somewhere, you'll run into somebody. This is not a mute or benign exercise. This is a real-ass exercise. And then I'll have people come up who are brave enough, we'll read them out loud, and we'll dissect. And I'll show you why the 5 laws are so valuable. Now, I've been teasing Ted. In order for him to drive me over, the last one I gave to the undergraduates, I only gave them 3 because they're like a starter group. So Ted goes, there's 5? Shit, I'll drive you over to the other one until I get the other 2. So we got to get to all 5, or Ted won't take me home. Okay. So, you willing to do the exercise? Yeah. Commit to it? Take it serious? Let's get some beer. All right. All right. If you have a business, right? Yeah. Tell me, no matter what your business is, Ted, if you make women's lingerie, watch it in my life with lingerie, so make it relevant to me. I'm assuming, make an assumption that gives that. Okay? But by the way, everybody, one quick provision. In your email, make an assumption about who I am that fits your target consumer audience. So if you make women's lingerie, just assume I have someone in my life who likes something, right? No matter what your business is, pretend I'm your core target audience and talk to me as if you know that I am. Okay? Hey, no problem. Keep him busy.
Right?
One more thing.
Nick, go grab your plane.
This is clearly on the scale of decameters. This is micro.
Oh.
Can charge my phone.
You're in front of the
Oh.
I thought this was like some kind of high-tech lens thing going on. Turned out
Yeah,
to
that's
be covered. Beautiful.
I just saw Nick playing with that on TikTok. I don't know how it works.
Is this the antenna right here?
I think charge or something. So,
Magnets. What's up?
Hi. Do you have a pen?
Yeah.
here's one.
Like how we're
All right. Look how much better.
Do you know if there's any water in here?
Yeah, there. Water.
On that side.
But
my pen over here.
which one's your pen?
The black one.
Wait, you lose it?
No, someone probably just picked it up.
Oh, ask Duncan because he was sitting next to me.
Cool, I have another one. I'm prepared.
So I'm supposed to be a customer who owns a bar or a tavern or nightclub or restaurant.
I don't know, I got confused. It could be like any kind of business, anything.
Right, yeah.
What is beautiful neighbors and they can say that you play some good stuff. Oh, I was talking to you about it. Oh, we're gonna just I saw you playing mobile video games.
Yeah, yeah.
Stupid B2C problems.
You mentioned maybe
You can mention what?
Trying to understand what it's all about. So are you?
We can see like a like someone wearing something, wearing a Bacardi shirt.
So you just kind of walked into all this. You have no clue, man. It's like, dude, I just gonna write it down first. But you know, I won't take that personally. I'm with you.
So you should do the email.
Yeah,
I think I
okay.
should probably start.
Oh, because it's a lead
Yeah.
tonight, right?
Oh,
Yeah, I'm just heading
This
home
talk
tonight.
is really good there.
Did you get your bottle? Or your,
Yeah. Thanks so much for bringing that back.
yeah, no problem. Okay, Doc, can you plug in my phone? Sorry. It's next to you.
Hey, so was there an else? Pizza?
That was for like before.
Okay.
It's fine.
Like, what the hell just happened?
I don't know. Whatever. It doesn't even matter. I don't know.
I'll buy a pizza.
Yeah. We'll have to try. Really? Yeah. I know. Huh? Oh, we get fake Lays.
Can I like say like screaming at the cop shop yesterday? Thanks for talking to me about parts of it.
Well, what's the
Yes.
what's the observation you
It's
had?
interesting that Starbucks is now interested in cars I'm doing. Like, is the house still link it back?
What's your objective?
What about pricing?
Huh?
Not about pricing for Starbucks. That's what I would talk to him about.
Who's
I don't understand what the point of this is.
You figure out how to.
Am I trying to like? No, this is I think Starter Spaces recording him live. I'm on hanging out on there. Like, is the point for me to like get a sale or
Whatever
get a
that
lead?
is. Whatever. That's you have to define that objective.
So it's whatever I want.
That's how I see it. That's why he started doing it on his laptop.
Or you can have this one.
Yeah, there's your kids to mess up.
What's this exercise? What's the goal? Or what are you supposed to be doing on the,
Just ask him for something that you want.
ask him for something you want?
You observe someone.
Am I observing? No, I already talked. I'm gonna say
Whatever.
I talked to him already
You observe,
at
talk,
length.
yeah. I
About
mean, obviously you have to talk to him to get his contact info. Or her. I mean, I can kind of tell right here. Yeah, so. I'll do it better. Okay. Don't even do it. How out?
Maybe they will.
Yeah. I missed the 5 things. Oh, hold on. I really like that correlation.
What are you writing at? Or are you doing it?
I'm just kidding. I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. I mean, explaining bartender. Meeting a prospect or something in the bar.
Got a bunch of numbers here. We're going to tell you this at sucks. I'm not consultant sounds great.
This? Yeah.
Oh wait. Oh, I thought
Oh no, I don't see that. Oh, there's a here.
Yeah.
Yours.
That thing's not working.
Oh, it's not. Okay, plug it in maybe over there. Or the one on Joel's table. Do you want one?
What up, neighbor?
Right.
That's when I was there. Stop by there.
Hi, Tracy.
No, you did.
What?
No, you did.
Yeah, I saw it. I didn't see anybody in that office. Which one is it? I'm in like the back corner.
Oh, that's not
Huh? Yeah, I'm or I go lay on the beach bag.
Leverage the shit out of it, make money. I like being in that mode. I grew up on a farm. I didn't realize I like to win. I tell you, I like to win.
Where'd he go?
Just doing like this.
We'll talk about that when we do exercise. This is a very simple way and analytical algorithm of how we control this. Okay. Okay, everybody. 5 more minutes. Hurry. Drink faster. Write faster.
I feel like I
It
need
only
to.
takes 26 letters to rearrange a page.
Yeah, everybody's on other people logged in right now.
Oh.
Yeah, you're right.
It's an analogy of the work. Our key thing is
I'm gonna go here.
other people watching this.
I don't know how many people watch. At least one person.
Okay. How you doing? Levi. Just say. Ah, cool. My copy. I don't do caffeine because I'm wired this way, so but I am a big connoisseur of computer science, a big connoisseur of what it takes to make good coffee. So I've been around some good coffee brands over time. We're having that space. Well, Montebello makes Folgers, and Red Down Folgers and those types of coffees.
Oh.
It's like from like years ago.
How do you know you make the impact? So what's the evidence you're making?
Yeah. I mean, like.
So we're yet to so the cool thing is the key part is what is the
Yeah, I see.
because you can monetize on marketing. really can't monetize on or the social equivalent of it. And most people think a hug is that thing you give selflessly without getting return. It's looking at this organization, some people who it's just part of our giving. That's actually what takes the effort, because you actually need to look at it. But you have to know how the transaction works. Okay, everybody ready? Oh, Asha, I'll give you 2 minutes by explaining something. Like, I want to fill up the space. Okay. I was asked during the break a couple of things. One, which is very interesting, is describing again what a transaction is. Because I kind of went really fast, as you can tell, I'm pretty buzzed about most things I think about. And I'm caffeine free, so imagine me on like a Red Bull. It would be nuts. Okay. So a transaction, literally, and you don't need to go to 4 years of college to figure out what business is. It's ridiculous because business is one sentence long. Business is simply the exchange of value between two people using some resource. So there are many kinds of transactions. If we decide we're going to be entrepreneurs, we're going to live in a monetary economic marketplace. So our transactable resource is money or something else, a people, fungible, exchange. Fungible is a technical term that universities use. Something I can use a value to exchange, like gold, or whatever that could be. It could be knowledge. If you're a really good programmer, you can exchange your hours of work for something of tangible value that you can go buy groceries with. So a transaction is an exchange of value between two people through the exchange of a resource. Now, if you're in another kind of an arena, the exchange still takes place by the same theory of dynamic flow of the resources. They're just mediated differently. A musician stands up here and plays you a song. How do you pay that musician? Through what? Appreciation exhibited through a transaction of what resource? A very simple one. You take these two resources and you do, right? So, and the person judges the value that they receive by what? The frequency, it's actually been studied, the frequency by which you clap and the noise that you make. So, if you go like this, what message does that send? Douche, up there, get off the stage. Right? The guy goes, yeah, right? So that's one thing, that's music. Now, guys, how do you know that you're gaining a female's appreciation, adoration, and love? Ladies, listen to this really fun. Pupil dilation. Ooh, dude! So you're an amphitech, you get the girl to read, she loves me! What's the transaction you're looking for? Take someone out, what's that? Let's keep this PG. You take someone out for a nice dinner. You listen to every one of her stories endlessly with adoration and presence and yes and empathize. Don't try to solve her problems. Most women just want you to listen to them, not solve anything, right? But ladies, we talking the shit now. Go through that process. And how do you know what's a transaction you get? She kisses you on the cheek. You got paid. And honey, that's enough. So the point is, there are many marketplaces that we as humans exist in. If I walk up to this young man and say, hey, could you help me with my, he's working out PCs, he doesn't know shit about good computer. But if I ask him to help me understand how to get on a Windows machine, and he helps me, did I not initiate a request for a transaction? If I just walk away after I get done, does he feel like, oh, shit, just use me? Right? What do I pay him with? Thank you. Thank you. That was the hardest part when I moved to India. I lived first in India for 3 years. There isn't a really good Hindi word for thank you. In India, if you ask someone to do something and they do it, that's the expected contract. And they don't expect a thank you. I've had more people when I lived in India who tell me, don't say thank you, you don't need to. You asked me to do it, I did it for you. Okay, so that was a really large awakening for me because the beautiful part of India is, in my home in Mumbai, if I wake up in the morning and say, I want an egg, I call down from my place in Palmai, and I just call down to the front of the building, and an egg shows up like 10 minutes later, and 5 guys have it. Right? There is an overabundance of resources in order to facilitate transactions. It looks like magic. I wish we could do that here. I wish we could wake up here and go, I need an egg. Also, door knocks, and there's an egg. It's like the coolest distribution system you've ever seen in my entire life. Somebody got on the rickshaw. I didn't have to hear my head. It's great. So always look for the cues of where are resources transacted. And when you see resources moving amongst you, figure out where the value chain is. The best way to be successful is to figure out where value is moving and just jump your ass in front of it and go, I'm here, catch, right? Or if you want to find a great opportunity, look where resource transfer is broken and fragmented and go fix it. Make something that solves that resource transfer problem because that's where real value and opportunities lie. It's not by reading Wired Magazine or Forbes or Fast Company, because what do you suppose they write about? What they want you to read. Don't get all hung up about what crap you read in these magazines as if we're missing an opportunity. It's just some crap someone else is throwing out there. Look at the world through a lens that says, what am I seeing and what can I go do about it? That's what it's all about. Okay, that was enough 2 minutes for you? You all ready about shop? Okay. Get your ass up here and present your idea. What I want you to do is just go up here and read it. And I'm serious. If you hang in there for just a little bit more, the value of this is what we do every day to clients that pay us a ton of money to answer these questions for them. So do not assume that I'm picking on your idea. We're analyzing possibility. We're analyzing possibility. I'm not going to say it's right or wrong because somebody asked me at the break, are you like a consultant, a marketer? You really going to say what your role is? I'm none of that shit. I can't stand the concept of a consultant. My job, I'm a strategist. I help people make better decisions. You want to make better decisions in your business, then I will help you straighten out all the factors that go into consumer behaviors that actually move the needle. I don't give people an answer. I give them A or B, and I let them pick. You've got to make your own damn decisions in life. But what we need is a network of people who can help us put together the strategies and help us make better value-focused decisions. Because all is unrich, we're all about value, right? All about value. So come on up, read the idea, loud crowd. All right, let's get it on. This is great. Don't worry, we'll get more. So Luke's got $20. He'll take us out. You don't think I'm going to get some of that back? I'm going to take it.
Right, so Amir and I came up with this. Our company is Paracosm, and we do it.
Hang on, a little slower. We're called what?
Paracosm. It means other world.
Paracosm. We'll talk a little bit about name generation in a bit. Paracosm, my mind is a little cognitive dissonance going on. I'm thinking, what the hell is that? Para what? I parachute? Para what? Yeah, so para.
Yeah.
See, Ted's sitting right here because those are the two things I told him. Okay.
Yeah. Well, see, probably some people are going to.
No, just read it.
All right, just read it.
No pre-sell. Because if you can't get it here, all the pre-sell you say it there.
Awesome. Dear Jeff, it was great chatting with you yesterday at Starbucks and hearing about your bidding project for a building survey. At Paracosm, we make a 3D scanning product that turns video of a building into accurate format. 12 of the top surveyors on the West Coast have used our system to underbid their competition and succeed on their projects. We're looking for our first client on the East Coast to use our 3D scanning system, which we spent 1 year developing, and 1 year and $1 million developing. You can take advantage of, well, let me skip to the next paragraph. That's only half sentence. Final little bit. We'd be excited to partner with you on your building surveying project to assure success. You get the project done in 1/10 of the time and at 1/10 the cost. Our results are magic, and the customer will be blown away. Email me back to start your project today. Thanks.
What do you think? By the type of applause, that transaction did you see that you presented? Okay, here's mine. You started a slow clap. Oh, now it's like the old days, right? Now, this is actually pretty good. On a scale of 1 to 5, which represents A, B, C, D, F, right? On a 1 to 5 scale, I give this like a C-. Yeah. When you so when you go to Vegas and you go to a $25 blackjack table, what's the rule? How do you get to play? $25. You can't say I got 10 and play your way on. Right? You got $25. What they did was table stakes. You gave me the sufficient feature information to at least understand what you do. You did a good job at that. But you didn't get me to want to talk to you. Because what gets people past the inertia of understanding, you did a very good job. That's why I'm saying the most important thing you can be as an entrepreneur is to know how to communicate with clarity that gets people to move. Get people to move. If you're trying to get a transaction of value, and the first one you're doing is use words to get people to transact with you is pick up the damn phone and talk to me. You're trying to get to the next conversation. They always tell you the elevator pitch is to get the next meeting, not to get the deal done. But in this meeting, in this pitch, your elevator pitch, you didn't get the deal done. So let's explore it. And we're doing a little bit of humor, because I know it's hard to hear these things, but let's do some humor. You know, you've seen the show Shark Tank? Okay? It's a fantasy. I've had a couple of students that have been on the show, and one of my students, they raised $180,000 from the guys on the show. 2 days later, they walked away from the meeting. The Shark Tank guys said, we're not doing the deal. And I went, what the hell? Turns out they never do the deal. And they basically say, shut the hell up. You got a lot of exposure since we said it was okay. And literally 3 days later, phone's ringing off the hook. They raised $500,000 in a 3-day period of time. So they were initially very upset because the Shark Tank guys were really rough with them. The problem is the Shark Tank people do their investing by what? Intuition, fueled with emotion, fueled with the need to make an exciting show for what? To turn a transaction called sell more advertising to the product off. It's not really how the world works. So I'm going to kind of relay that to you real quickly. Okay, so here's the really salient part. So we'll break down the 5 laws, and we'll see, and every one of you will do the same thing. 95%. A.G. Lafley and Procter & Gamble did the same thing. At Procter & Gamble, we make beauty products that really enhance the way women think about themselves, all the features. Of course, a beauty product's table stake is what? If I sell you a shampoo, what's the table stakes? It should clean your hair. So don't tell me in your pitch that it cleans my hair. I know that. It's clean your hair for what reason? This will be the hint. Because the number 1 law is an overt benefit. You notice on the second page here, this one here, you confused the shit out of me. I said there's 4 pages, there's only 2. God damn it. Okay. So the second one here has 4 out of the 5 laws are written right on here. And the one that's not a law are features. Features are your table stakes. So later on, what you can do is you can start to take your concept and dial down through what are your features. So here's the features. Great chatting with you yesterday and hearing about your bidding project for a building survey, which is great because now I know as a customer, I'm bidding for a building survey. That's great. 12 of the top surveyors on the West Coast have used our system to underbid their competition and succeed on their projects. To which I respond, congratulations. I'm not one of those 12 people. F you, right? They're telling me something of a value that they exchanged, and you know what? That's not the place for it, because that's a feature of an outcome. We actually sold something. As a matter of fact, we call this part of law 2 called reason to believe. We know you're legit because you have at least 12 customers on the West Coast. But you don't lead with this because you should really lead right here with your core benefit. And that is, if I use your product to get my survey done, what do I get? See, I'm going to pay you money for it, but you got to transact with me something of your resources, and what I'm looking for is what you got to sell me. You're not selling me a survey. You're not selling me 3D wacky Wonder World, right? You're not selling me your tech. You like explaining your tech, but you haven't told me what I get. So right now, my inertia goes, dollars stay in my pocket. Who can I got for the hands today? Okay? So, we're looking, I like this, we're looking for our first client on the East Coast. This is where you lost me. Because now you insulted me. Hey, dude, we got these West Coast guys that fell for our shit and they paid for us. Not looking for some new talent on the East Coast. I'm not your bitch, right? We want you to spend money, take a chance on us, so that we can say we got some sales on the East Coast. I know what you want. You want sales on the East Coast. I'm not your girl. Okay? See how that sounds to the person you're trying to sell to? That had no place in this concept. Because this has nothing to do with your benefit. Because you haven't told me that yet. Now you're wasting my time, right? To be our first. Ooh, kiss of death. Who wants to be first? Yeah, I want to be first. It only works on a roller coaster you watch millions of other people go on. Right? No one wants to be first in anything except those 4 frat guys who go, yeah, dude, that's what we live for. All the decisions you made in your college career were good ones, eh? Yeah, that's the answer right there. We just had the most beautiful transfer of value right there. Confirmed my belief about the crack man. You're like, I survived it, didn't I? Okay, so to be our first 3D scanning system, blah, 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 whatever the hell that means, right? 3D scanning system. Here's a 3D scanning system. Truth. That was a 3D scanning system. What did I scan?
Normal surface of my hand.
In space, yeah. I basically mapped the size of his hand. Now I have a cognitive understanding. Every picture I have, I'm going, Jesus Christ, gorilla hands, right? Everything you do in life is a sensory cue. You just got to process them, okay? I'm lucky I have super sensory skills. So, to be our first 3D scanning system, which we spent 1 year and $1 million developing. I have no clue why that's valuable. Now I go, congratulations, you dumbass, if you spent $1 million doing this. And 1 year, like, woohoo, big deal. Like, we'll all of a sudden lay down and go, wow, you guys work so hard, I want to be your customer. No, it's all about you now. So you're trying to transact with yourself. You know what you call a value transaction with yourself? Masturbation. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So don't do it on my email, buddy. I mean, it's creepy to me. I want to see something so bad that we're on the damn camera. Don't film me. I like to be able to go off. Okay. So, we'd be excited, yeah, because they're planning themselves. We'd be excited to partner with you. Don't invite me to your threesome. Sorry. On your building survey project. Of course, I got $1 million project. I need a survey. We'd like to be your partner. Yeah, come on. Let us play with you. No. Survey to assure success. Seriously, I've been a builder for 40 years. You two, Johnny come lately, developed something for $1 million and spent 1 year, and you're going to assure my success because you want to partner with me on the East Coast and you've got no other credibility than that? You're ballsy. Not only do you play with yourself, you just hang him out there and walk around. Yeah, that's all right. That's pretty good. So I love it. I love the tenacity here, right? You got to have a little bit of that. I tell people all the time, even if you've never sold one, just pretend like you did it, right? You never say, we will. Say, our company does this. I like that. We're doing this shit. Okay, that's great. You got to have that certainty, but you got to wrap it in the right package, right? You'll. I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. You dirty little. Okay, great. Are you a fraternity guy too? Russian. You'll get the project done in 1/10 the time and 1/10 the cost. Now, a lot of you out there are thinking, "There's the magic. That's the benefit." No, it's not. This is called a second-order feature. You're talking to me about if I buy and spend money on you, you'll save my resource load. Expenditures, time, and money. Two most important resources you have. Number one, most important, is your time. I can't tell you. I was telling the story earlier. I spent 10 years in college. I've only had to work 6 years for somebody else. I thought it was a great ROI on my investment. But now, I work for my own time. I get to pick what I work on. The most important resource you have is time. Money, you can always go find. Okay? So I get this, I appreciate it, but it's a second order benefit, a second order feature. So despite the fact that I say 1/10 the time, 1/10 the cost, the results are not magic. By the way, I don't believe in Hogwarts. Okay? Never use the word magic, out of this world. Oh, take it to the next level. It's a general sweeping, it's a sweeping generalization. You can't write that check. You can't do magic. You can't say it's going to be the best project experience you've ever had. You've never followed me around. How do you know my criteria for an awesome project? Right? You have to think. You have to think carefully about the strategy of how people make decisions about resource allocation. It's based on, if I'm going to give Luke $20, I got to get something. What's in it for me? It was prove a point, have a memory, get something cool from Luke, be his friend. I don't see that here yet, and I want you to think about it because I'm going to ask you, what's your benefit? I think we all know what it is, but we'll see if we get to it, okay? And your customers will be blown away. Funny in this metaphoric context. Now you should laugh. He goes, no, I'm not going to laugh. So anyway, if you don't do it, you'll be left in the in crowd. Did you write that shit? That was optional copy later. And that was the follow-up. Hey, Jeff, you asshole, you didn't respond to my first email. If you don't do this, you'll be left. use scarcity all the time. For limited time only, get them while they're still here. That crap is called persuasion. Okay, if you've ever read Cialdini's book on influence, throw that shit away. The guy's a loser. Okay? We've had this conversation many times. Influence gets attention, doesn't turn trial. Influence gets attention. His work is great, I get it. But it's monkey see, monkey do. You're just leveraging people's value with no return. And when they discover they've been influenced, what do people do?
Yeah.
Exactly. That's the universe. You've been influenced the wrong people.
Funny because that's the book. I was like, what else did he say?
Yeah, what else did he say? Well, throw that shit away. Email me. I'll send you my book called Meaningful Marketing. Okay? I'll send anyone here a PDF if you email me Meaningful Marketing. I'll give it to you. Okay. Then we talked about Cialdini. We kind of spooked in there too, so that's fine. Okay. So the first thing is, the first law is, give me an overt benefit. What's my overt benefit if I use you?
Your interns can do the work.
Ah, hell, I'll fire my interns if they screw up. Like, give me the sense of satisfaction.
money.
No, it's not make more money. Okay, so let's think about it. I said the magic of every business is understanding the consumer behavior, the end behavior you expect the customer to have. So, understand your customer. When someone does a building survey, I built a few buildings, I've built 4 restaurants, 3 nightclubs, so I've been through this process, okay? So here's the funny part about it. When I do a building survey, what do I most need? And what do these measurements have to be?
Accurate.
Accurate. You never told me that your fancy magic shit that you spent $1 million on, I have no clue whether you know how to measure anything or not. And the most important thing is I can't mess up the measurements. Because what happens if I have messed up measurements? You could say 1/10 the cost and 1/10 the time implies the measurements are right. No, you just 1/10 the cost and 1/10 the time until I had Guido come shoot you. Where's my Italian friend? People. No kidding. In Manhattan, when I did my group hub, there are people who show up who are Italian who go, dude, I helped you get the right permits. And they did. Okay? It's required in New York. You don't do a deal without my Italian friends. Seriously. I actually said to the guys in the mob, I said, can I watch you do like an interview for a new guy who runs money for you? And I actually got to sit and watch a guy interview another guy on how to get a job in the mob. It was great. I'll tell you that later when we're drinking beer. It's better than a French story to tell you. Okay. So anyway, what are you going to do to tell me that in this year we spent $1 million in the 1 year developing there? That's okay language if you finish it with what was the outcome that we learned about. Here's what you can start with. Hey Jeff, I know you've got this upcoming building survey project, and we know from talking to our 12 customers on the West Coast that the most important factor for the success in a building project is accurate estimations of the measurements. They affect time and money and whether or not your new project is loved by your customers. Same thing you had, I just spun it different, right? So we spent $1 million in a year developing a very accurate algorithm that allows to get precision measurements from a video, rough cut video, down to the 10th of the center. It's almost like that global position check, right? GPS within 3 feet. It usually works like 3 miles, but they say 3 feet, right? So you have to be truthful. Now you follow that up with reason to believe. Then you say, well, we know this is true because A, we spent this year testing with our 12 people. They came in under budget, under time. It's like, well, what amount? Quantify data now. This is where you say they came in for every $1 million of the project, they saved X amount. And because you can do it with the video, I agree, they suck, don't they? Okay, so every time you use that video, every time you use it, you simply take a video, your cost of acquiring the measurements. One of the things you probably are talking about is there's a pain on perceiving that when you go out to get these survey measurements, a pain in the ass to go do this, right? See, the thing is, you guys know that, but you didn't talk about it. We call this expert syndrome. They're so close to their project, they didn't back up. Because the customer who's trying to buy your new thing, I don't know that you know this. So the most important thing is reason to believe. You buy an Apple computer not because your friends have one and it's cool, well you do, but the first decision you have to make is, will this phone do what it's supposed to do? Right? And is there reason to believe that it does? That's your friend, so how's your phone work? That's how we explore reason to believe. How's yours work? Okay, the third one is dramatic difference. Okay? How is it different than the current way you do a survey? Take a sentence. The current way you do a survey, you get some guy out there with a thing, and you have to make sure that he's on that day. He didn't just come back from Amsterdam, he's high, thinking about that girl, and he's not messing around, because that's where the inaccuracies are. Most inaccuracy in surveys is a human error. So what we did is we overcame human error by taking a video camera, and we scan it, and we convert human error into truth. With more certainty, your project will be a success because we know you'll get your project done with better accuracy. I'm going to buy the peace of mind that my survey got done right. That's the benefit. See the little subtle switch? There was the magic. Can I get an applause for that? You see where I'm going? And I have no clue if I'm even close. Is that pretty accurate? Yeah. Okay, not bad for you didn't tell me what you're doing, but I'm okay with that. Now, the fourth law, Ted, this is the magic. It's called the adoption hurdles. And there are two kinds. There's a sheet here. God damn it. Okay. There's a sheet here that looks like this. You have positive adoption hurdles and negative adoption hurdles. What makes it easy to buy from you? Don't just say, just give me a call. No. What you say is, send us a little 5-second, 10-second, go online, 6-second clip of your building, and we'll send you the measurements. Send me something you know the dimensions of. Try us out. Now you got my attention, Sparky. Now that $1 million is going to put it up and shut up. Here's a $20 blackjack table. We go, yeah, I'm badass. I play poker in Vegas. Yeah, you stood by the table, drank the free drinks, and then put the chips down. Right? Say, send us a little clip. Have one of your people. Give us a name, or if you can't send us a clip, give me one of your people's names. We'll get the clip from them. We'll do the work. We'll do the legwork. Let us give you an estimate. And if you do that, then we'll talk about how we can work together. Now you got my action, right? See, there's positive adoption hurdles, and then there's negative adoption hurdles. How do you make it hard for me to work with you? Part of it is you just didn't work transparent enough. I don't know how you're really doing it, how it works, and if it's going to be okay. Why would I risk my building with you guys? It's not a condescending statement. It's actually a value exchange statement, right? Now, the fifth law is the magic law. Just really isolated this one out recently. And it's called social sufficiency. It's not social comparison. In other words, your project, your customers will be blown away. You're trying to say social comparison. Everyone's going to think you're a great builder. No, I need social sufficiency. Social sufficiency is a very complicated thing, but it's make me take the first step. Help me make the first step an easy step. Make it easy for me to make the first step. And part of that is wrapped up in the adoption hurdle language, right? Send us a video. Send us a video. And if you do that, here's the value I'll give you back. And we'll get you a quote in 3 days. See, social sufficiency is kind of sensitive. Because I could say, send me a video, and you're like, oh, yeah, all right, these little guys, they want the video, and I don't know. Should I send it to them or not? Well, if you say, we'll get it back to you in 3 days. This is why this is so powerful, because what does it mean to say, I'll get it back to you in 3 days? Guaranteed. What does that say? If they don't get it back to me in 3 days, it says, no matter how accurate they are, I don't know if I can depend on them with my big-ass project. Why would I give them 2 hours with a video? See, these subtle things in life can really tip how someone behaves in your space. Was this valuable to you? Was this interesting to everybody?
Yeah.
Should we do one more?
Yeah.
Oh, well, look at this. Good job, guys. As a matter of fact, I never judge whether an idea is good or not. I'll let the marketplace figure that shit out. I'm a strategist. I go, if you do it the way I just said it, it was recorded, so you go write this down. I guarantee you the trial numbers on your response rate was more than 5-fold. I guarantee you. The one that you wrote, maybe if we know it's about a 15% chance someone would call you back. The one I just did, about 70% chance. Wouldn't take long. Yeah, by the way, my email address is very easy. It's stamp@boldthinking, boldthinking.com. And if you send me a concept, because you're all great entrepreneurs, and I love the fact that you've invited me here, I'll do an analysis on your idea for nothing, because I invented the algorithm. I can do it on the fly. You got all 5 minutes in? Yes. Okay. Repeat them. Follow the press line on the card. Okay. 1 to a 5, Ted. Bless this. This is fun to do. Ted, 5. He goes, don't do this to me. Okay, so it's overt benefit, real reason to believe, dramatic difference, adoption hurdles both positive and negative, and social sufficiency. Okay? Keep them in mind and watch for them when you buy anything. You'll see it becomes magic. It's like if I were to say, when did the last time you saw a red Corvette? Can't remember, but now in the next 2 days, you will see one because I seeded it in your head.
Just how often? Why did you call the last one social
Sufficiency. The word sufficient means make it sufficient for me to not lose my social credibility with myself and my team. Because if I go to you and say, hey, Vice President Ted, I'm going to go work with these two like little guys in the West Coast and I get my business, and your first thought is, what the hell, Jeff? I just spent some social capital with Ted saying, let us roll it. So I need to have sufficient need to spend my social capital. This is where social capital has to be expended because there is benefit in social value. Where's my coffee dude? So the coffee dude has this foundation. He says, coffee dude's gonna like, you buy my coffee 15%, I'm going to help people in other places. It seems like that's a really interesting thing, and he's not really getting any money for it, but the value of that has to get transacted somehow, because later on, Ted's going to come back to me and say, Jeff, I got a wacky ass idea, you got to do this one. Because the minute I ask him to bend it for me, he's going to come back and he's a flat guy. He's going to go back and 2x return. He's going to say, I need something really from you now. You know, so that's how we work with each other. And because we're friends and we get it, right, then I have to let that lie on the table and let that fall as well. So we have to wrap that in, especially when you're talking to decision makers. Oh, social sufficiency is huge. Now, mom at home buying shampoo, there is a social sufficiency. Remember when your mom came home, Dallas, can we talk seriously with us? When you were in high school, and your mom came home with some new shampoo and said, hey, I got this stuff special on the store, and she just used it. You're in the shower, you're going, crap, no, why did you know this cheap ass swamp shampoo, right? And you actually assigned value by what your mom told you to use, by how she thought about you based on what it is she bought. And if it didn't work, you're like, Mom, don't mess up my shampoo. Didn't? How did you make those choices? You said, Mom, go away and buy my own.
My mom, I mean, we don't talk about shampoo inside. You know, I don't know, she was in the military and still, you know, the girly stuff.
Okay, so you're part of what I would say is not the core target response that you normally see.
Yeah.
When I work with Johnson & Johnson, one of the most important things that you see in our commercials for Johnson & Johnson products is young ladies. How do they share beauty secrets? They do not talk to their moms. Who do they get it from? Their friends. That's why you always see two girls side by side in the sink washing their face. It rarely ever really happens, but they get the metaphor. You get your beauty secrets from your friends. Okay? So, when your mom came home and gave you that shampoo that she bought, there was a certain amount of social sufficiency resistance in using it because your mom did it and your friend told you something else. And when there's cognitive dissonance, I don't care if it's your mother, you're going to go, oh, Mom, come on. Go. And probably around your mom, you're growing up at a certain point because the mom, I got this. When your mom's in the military, she's always telling you, it's okay, I got this. Right? So again, look for those patterns. I never judge them. I'm a purveyor of observation. When you live life with a sense of discovery, you see really rich things. Yes?
Okay, so you have this amazing equation that your planning says is ignore all of your consumer but yeah, you take all this data from your consumers, all these case studies and all these panels, but ignore that because I have this equation.
Well, I never said ignore. What I said is start with this. Start with this as an aid to judgment. So before you spend money, go doing this other shit, make sure the money you're spending is good money. Because you can spend a lot of time writing this concept and it costs you nothing. So we dramatically improved his ability to go do a consumer test because we got the words right and didn't waste his money.
So give us some metrics. If they use your system before they go and spend the money to get the consumers in the door, what does it say them? What is the clear value to that property unit?
To do, if they did an average question like theirs with a certificate title of people, 300 people, put them in a room and ask the 300 builders in a room to judge their idea to get a 15% number back, or if they were just going to start to do it, that research alone would probably cost them $40,000 to $60,000. I'll analyze that concept then for $1,000. That's one. Second, they would waste the hours, time, man hours, effort. They probably would try to go and get some more customers. If we just get one customer, we'll leverage that. Probably spend a year, another $1 million. So even before they spent the $1 million, I would have said, let's test the concept. I have people test concepts before they. I would have never said, spend $1 million developing this program, but I don't even know if the damn thing is worth making. Not that this is a diss on you guys. It's just that I'd rather have you spend that money first to see if it matters to the customer's behavior. Test the customer's behavior before you even write a line code. Because guess what? I'm more proud of the money that I've saved people from bad ideas than the people that I've helped launch into their business. Because the last thing I want to do is mess up your future with setting up resources that never get returned. Does anybody here want to crash anything? Have a bad accident? On my 9 companies, I've had 2 horrible ones. 2 horrible ones. I lost $1.8 million real dollars in 2001 after 9/11, for an idea that we had as a partnership with the New York Stock Exchange, Merrill Lynch, and Bear Stearns. It still even bothers me today to talk about it because we were going to go public IPO on 9/28, $1 a share in, $10 IPO price, and I lost. We had 6 guys, $8.6 million in the deal, and the world got changed on it. It was a bad exit, no fun. It wasn't paper money, it was real money. So I understand the pain. I understand the pain of what resources mean to us. It's everything. You're here because you got it all in. If you're in this room, you're all in, right, Duncan? People are all in if they're here. If they're not, then don't be here. But that's why we do these kind of things first, so that you get a better aid to judge. Remember, my job is to help you make better decisions. So sometimes you have more choices, you make better decisions. That's the whole point. I didn't mean to say don't do this other stuff. Do something first to understand the world. Okay, go.
Hi, Jeff. Pleasure sharing a piece of pizza with you the other day. I know we.
Hang on a second. The rule was nice having coffee with you.
This happened with someone other than you.
Okay. Nice, but that wasn't the setup.
Sorry,
And when you go counter to that, you're telling me you're disregarding the effort. Your social sufficiency hurdle just went way up in our interaction from now on in, because I asked you to play the game with me. And since you're not willing to play the game with me, I don't want to play the game with you.
Can I tap in?
Oh, shit.
Is that an interesting lesson right there?
Yeah.
Okay, so continue. You got he's got a good spirit. I'm not trying to be rough, but I mean serious. Yeah, I have a lot of energy and I really love this stuff, but there is a discipline to me, and I'm clear about how do we play the game, because it is. We're all in fiction land until we make it, right? So continue. So nice having pizza with you. I'll get over it. Some therapy and fear.
I know we talked about how you feel like you're spending a lot of money on social media without seeing any return. What if I could show you a way to optimize that ad spend automatically and minimize the human error of social media management? We're applying the science of big data to social media to show clients 4 times real return on their ad spend right now. Let us know if you'd like the opportunity to join our closed beta test and say hello to the holy grail of social, real ROI on day 1 of using our software.
So what's his magic? It's his artificial explanation of the magic to use the word holy grail. And science of big data. Biggest bunch of masturbation ever. As a PhD mathematician, it's always been big data. There's always been big data. The volume of data hasn't changed. We've been analyzing piles and piles. Every time a consumer scans a bag of chips, $230 million a year. You know, there's a lot of UPC codes that get scanned. That's a huge ass data. Okay? Not only that, we've got 82 product lines in 3,200 stores in 42 countries. Yeah, we get that part. Big data is not new. Big data is popular right now. So don't get caught up in the whiz-bang thing, right? I understand leveraging big data is hot, but you can explain the science of big data. What is the science of big data?
We're going to use machine learning on the data to find the
What's machine learning?
We're finding the differences between data sets in our experiments to find a better answer.
So it's like this. Which one is heavier?
Yeah, pick that one.
Yeah, that's big data in a nutshell. Yeah. Which one's heavier? No, this one is. That's big data. That's funny. Okay, so read again. We'll tell you where. Okay, give a big hand here. This is just like yours. Same. We can go this to everybody. It's exactly the same. Please say, I got your back, man. Okay. Okay. Read it again. Start again.
Hi, Jeff. Pleasure sharing a piece of pizza with you.
Yeah, let's go back to that again.
I know we talked about.
Okay, wait a minute. I know. This is the danger. Never say I know, because you don't. Okay? Keep going.
We talked about how you feel like you're spending.
Oh, no, don't say you feel, because now you just dissed me again like I'm an asshole and just feel that I don't have any information of my own. See, the words are important. What business am I in? Say, in our work with customers in businesses like yours, we know in the food sector that one of the biggest challenges you have with ROI for social media is what? Show me you know some shit. Don't just pretend. I know you're just getting your business off the ground, but if you don't clearly know what you do for somebody, I'm not giving you $1 to guess on that. I'm not. And no one else is going to either, unless they're emotionally connected and go, God, you're a really cool guy. And don't go, oh, or just tap the Gator Network. Gator Network will bail my ass out because we're Gator buddies. Right? No. That was kind of weird, wasn't it? I just realized you guys set the bar really high. The point is, clarity of what you do. Benefit people, respond to a benefit. Where are we going after this?
What?
Where are we going after this? Where's the bar we're going after this?
Some balls.
Okay, now, why? So he's already there. We're going to take Luke with us. He's got the money. Okay, so the thing is, even when we ask where are we going on Friday night, there is a sense of benefit, reason to believe, dramatic difference, adoption hurdle, and social community at play. Why? The benefit is you're buying me the first drink. Gotcha. Reason to believe he bought a drink. He bought a drink for me yesterday. He's good for it. Dramatic difference is there's a hell of a lot better place in the swamp. There's a lame place. I was just there the other day. I didn't have anything good. Okay? And then what's my adoption hurdle? Well, you're going to drive me around, make it socially acceptable. We're taking a break. Who knows everybody? We're doing networking. So we got it all down. Luke, what about me? What about me? We'll bring Luke to it. Okay? We're not bringing the guy with the pizza, though, because he's just weird. So if you don't know what someone thinks, do the work to figure out how to talk to every customer. You can figure out what my things are. We'll read after that. I'll show you some more.
You're spending a lot of money on social media without.
You're spending a lot of money. Assumptive. You see, if you're in a law, you can't make an assumption. You have an objection. Leading the witness. You're leading the witness. You're spending a lot of money. Companies today, do your work. Companies today spend X amount of dollars to get X amount of results, and they wonder why. There's an old thing about marketing. Right? You heard this percentage? Half the money spent on marketing is wasted. We just don't know which half. Think about it. Half the money spent on marketing is wasted. We just don't know which half. So if he's in a marketing business, he needs to be able to clearly project that he knows which half you're wasting. And getting sufficient return on ROI on advertising, what is the bar? What's my standard of acceptable ROI? State that shit. Just say it. We know with businesses like yours, ROI on social media is important. For every dollar you spend, you expect this back. Show me you know something. Ever notice the questions they ask on Shark Tank are very much like this? Okay, keep going.
What if I could show you a way to?
What if I could? What if I could? First he floats all these big ass ideas and he comes in weak. What if I could? Give me a chance. Take me to the Oz, Mr. Powerful Oz. No. I would like to show you how. Remember, this is your business. You have to run it like you know it. Is that cool? Okay, next.
Optimize that. What if I could show you how to optimize that ad spend automatically?
I just gave you a chance to say, I'm going to show you.
Okay,
You can play along. I'm serious.
I'm going to show you how to optimize that ad spend automatically and minimize the human error of social media management.
Okay. Optimize, minimize. Global generalizations, a check you can't write because there's no reason to believe. Feature. I expect, think about it. He has a business of big data to give me analytics for a reason. The table stakes are, he's going to optimize one, minimize the spend. Is that not the objective to how he created it in the first freaking place? So don't just tell me what's obvious. It's insulting. Not like it's emotionally insulting. It's just, that's what we do, right? Oh, I know you're going to like measure some shit to build a building. No kidding, I'll build it. You spend $1 million figuring out how to measure stuff? I mean, I know we're having fun, but I'm doing this in an exaggerated way so it sticks. I could have just bought a boring-ass PowerPoint. There's 5 things you got to do with these memorizing to get on with your life. I'd be bored and I'd be.
We're applying the science of big data.
Oh, big data! I thought like your country wasn't saying, I'm on this big data, gonna play the song for you know. Got any request? Answer. No, we got big sexy heat next.
To social media to show clients 4 times real return on their ad spend right now.
4 times. I want to work with you to show you 4 times. Where's my reason to believe? Because the last 5 people we worked with got 4 times. Here's some numbers. Give them a call. Call somebody up. Hey, ask them how we did for them. You can do the same thing. Hey, call one. Here's the number of one of our best clients. Give them a call. Tell them to call them. That's also social sufficiency because that's going to go, hey, who the hell are these yahoos? Right? Always think Ted's in the back of your head asking you questions because he probably is. It's kind of creepy. Okay, so good so far. Keep going.
Let us know if you'd like the opportunity to join our closed beta test and stay
Just like you guys, wait, we'll have to come out and work with you. Hey, let us know if you'd like. You want me to see what you're asking me to do that is you want me to work for you. I ain't your girl. Okay? I'm not that person. I got stuff to do. I got stuff to do. I would like to work with you if working with you gives me more value for the transaction you're proposing I take with you. You see, it's not all about all this fancy stuff we're working on. It's about something very, very fundamental. Get me to want to know, like, and trust you. That's your objective. Know, like, and trust. Okay. Give another big hand. That's good stuff. Go get the pizza, damn it, if you're going to talk about it. Okay, you want 5 minutes?
Well, you said 100 words, and mine is literally right around.
I love the left brain analyticals. I love it.
Exactly 100 words is going to be great.
It's just, there's not really much to work for. Because
Not
really, I mean, because I didn't.
Yeah. Go for it.
I didn't share it.
Go for it. Go ahead.
Hey, big sexy, bring it on. Table dance. Come on. Let's say it.
Hey Jeff, it's great to talk to you yesterday. So sorry to hear about how many of your florist customers are rejecting your shipments and switching to other wholesalers. So tough to find and keep customers in this economy. I'd love to demonstrate to you how our system can show your customers how clearly superior your flowers are and how long your beautiful bouquets will last. After that, they'll absolutely know why you're the best shipper they could choose. Love to talk to you about it more.
What do you think, Hanson? Tell them what's up. What do you think? You guys have been through this twice. Did he or did he not fall into exactly the same trap as everybody else? Yeah. Fortunately, I've been in this space. You know a company called Calyx and Corolla? Okay. 1-800-Flowers? Okay. We worked with both of those companies. And you made a couple of really big assumptions. Let's start from the beginning. Read again.
Good to talk to you yesterday. I'm so sorry to hear about how many of your florist customers are rejecting your shipments and switching to other wholesalers.
Okay. I'm the CEO of a big-ass flower company. Do I need him telling me that? No. No. He rose the bar of social sufficiency because there was no reason to believe he knows that, A.
You talked to me yesterday.
I talked to you yesterday.
You told me that.
I told you that. But you don't throw that back in my space because empathy is misplaced because you want me to do something with you. I'm losing customers. Now you want to look at the logic. I'm losing customers. I shared that with you. Now you want to spend more money to turn that around, and you didn't start with the benefit. You really are trying to tell me I'm desperate. Notice the subtle phrasing that if I accept what he just said, it sounds like I'm desperate for a solution. Never put a buyer in a desperate position because then what happens? Buyer's remorse is very serious snapback. If you think about it, and the data is very clear on this. If someone buys from you and they like it, they tell 4 people, they only tell for about 10 seconds. Like, when was the last movie you went to? Did you like? Okay. Entrepreneurs have no social life. It's really hard to do this, exactly. But you'll tell someone like it because you know George Clooney's in it. But if I were to ask her what movie she didn't like, she would tell 16 people, and more importantly, she would go on about it until someone said it's enough. Right? When you like something, you tell them why you like it, you're done. When you don't like something, we love to go on. I've been in 48 countries, and I've yet to find a group of people who can't kill an idea. Okay? So the funny part is he made me look like I'm desperate. Now he makes a huge assumption. He's got to work really hard to get back on the page. So here's the funny part. Get back up here. You don't get up here to talk and then sit down. I'm going to stand up. You disrespect the concept of energy transfer. Step up here. Get up there. Okay, read more. So sorry to hear you're losing your customer. Now, what could he have replaced that with? In our conversation yesterday about you losing your customers, I was struck by the sense that this is challenging to you. So I thought it would be nice to share with you an idea I have for a solution. This is recorded anyway, don't worry. That I have a solution for your challenge. See, there are no problems in life. There are just challenges that need opportunities. Now he sounds like an entrepreneur. I was struck by the dramatic nature of these losses that you're having, and I want to offer you an opportunity to see a different way. Yes, sir.
Oh, bullshit. Why wouldn't he, if he was struck, why wouldn't he have spoken up then? Like, the
because remember the preface was, and I appreciate that, and it was no bullshit because I was busy and I gave him my card and said, write me an email. I gave him permission to analyze what I had said. So when someone gives you permission, when someone shares with you something that's going on in your life, now, the next time you go to them, you can't go, hey, I'm so sorry about the fact that this is, that's a little aggressive. It's actually confrontational. You get people's emotion to show. It's better to say, I heard what you said, and I'd like to offer my observations. And most women in this room would agree, because that's exactly how most of us guys talk to women. Hey, you said what? And you try to fix it, as opposed to, hey, I need to hear, and then I'm going to turn it to a positive.
Yes, the ladies love.
Go ahead.
It's so tough to find and keep customers in this economy.
It is tough. And you can say, even in our business, it's tough. Share some of that with someone, right? Okay, so now, keep going. We're still looking for the benefit.
I'd love to demonstrate how our system can show your customers how clearly superior.
Again, I'd love to demonstrate, which means he wants me to work for him. Right? Okay, keep going. Keep going.
How clearly superior your flowers are.
Again, clearly superior. No reason to believe back up. Again, a check he can't write because he has to know. We know that in your business, this is what superior means. Right? Keep going.
And how long your beautiful bouquets will last.
Okay, so how are you doing that? What are you doing? I can't quite understand what you're doing for me. Then we want to show you what?
I want you to show your customers how superior your flowers are and how long your bouquets last.
How are you doing? How are you doing that?
That's why I'm talking
Keep
more.
going. Or you want to talk to me more? You haven't even revealed it. Yeah. I want to show your customers why your flowers are superior and why they last longer. And you want me to take a chance to call you? I go to Ted. Ted, are you going to let me call it? No, you're not. Yeah. He's saying that it's a triple rat trick. That's like, I disavow any of this. You go hang yourself, and when you fail, I'll let you know. That's what he did. See, the thing is, don't dare me to call you, because it's never going to happen. The inertia for me to do nothing is, I just met this guy yesterday. I don't know how much, he didn't demonstrate he knows my business. Because what's the two most important reasons for my superior quality of my flowers? Give me the two most important variables for superior flower quality.
Initial supplier and then conditions in transit.
Conditions in transit. Show me how well you know this business. What are the two variables that are most important? You articulated the environment. The two most important variables for flower quality are what? That's a secondary set that relate to it. What are the two most important ones? Oh, again, antecedents to the real flower. No, that's a customer response to it. Time of cut and the condition and what stage they are in their growing or senescence. Because the minute you cut a flower, it starts to do what? Die. So time of cut and time of transport. Then oxygen, carbon dioxide concentration, nitrogen concentration, water, lean gas, all that other bullshit you add on top of it. But you put all that stuff in there, and you cut the flower at the wrong time of the day, and then you transfer it too long, your conditions only have a time limit. You light a fuse, right? You light a fuse, you send that firecracker somewhere, right? So the key part about this is, yes, the table stakes are, you know that you have to put it in the right gases, or you're not in this business. We know you have to have moisture. We know you have to have all the other stuff. But the most important thing is get to the benefit of what matters most. Time you cut it in the field and how long it took you to get somewhere. Because if those two things aren't met, all that other stuff, literally at the end of the day, becomes me arguing points I know you won't argue on. Right? Do you follow where we're going here? You can't discuss everything in life, but you really want to get to the core cause and effects that makes a dramatic difference in how someone perceives your ability to transact with you. One of the things that we did in our business, you go to the Minneapolis airport. On the first floor of the Minneapolis airport, I'll send you pictures. We have a flower shop that's there. We rose sales 68% by doing only one thing. We found out from our suppliers in South America where the flowers were coming from. We actually put time of cutting, FedEx flight number, when the plane landed, and what time is it right now, so that people know those flowers were literally cut 2 hours ago. No one's ever said, so what's the composition of carbon dioxide and nitrogen in your flower? Your flower delivery system. All people at the end of the day, the end customers want to know is, fresh flowers means what to the average person? When did you cut them? Calyx and Corolla send you flowers that are already budded. They've learned how to do all that magic with ethylene oxide, the number one growth hormone that actually causes flowers to open up, to actually know the right formula that to make them bloom once they get to your door and you open them up. Ever wonder why you buy a banana and they're green in the store and magically you bring them home, boom, they go that color? Well, that's interesting life that they go through. So all that other sciencey stuff is pretty cool, but most people at home go, so it must have just cut those flowers, they look beautiful. And that really dramatically changes it. So as part of his thing is he says, okay, I know you're in the flower business. What is your thing you want to share with me? What's your science? Is it some sort of magical gases or? Okay. There you go. Give a big hand. So at the end of the day, the 5 laws are very, very, very important because you get one opportunity for someone to make a decision. How fast before someone makes a decision of am I going to call you or am I not? 5 seconds. You get 15. It depends. Come on, Ted. This is where you're supposed to say bullshit. I call the bullshit, right? It was like I said a number, and it's like it depends. It's a very short period of time. It all depends on how people react to it, right? It all depends. Now, what's really interesting is part of that is if you really do run into somebody, get a sense of what that big problem is for why you're losing, so that you can recall that back. Say, in our conversation about why you're losing customers, you mentioned the fact that maybe that it was because your CO2 is low. If your thing is all about CO2 or something like that, bring that up because then your benefit then makes sense. Because in my experience in this business, it was time of cut and length of delivery time. All of the things that we ever tried to mess with for our business weren't significant. You could probably argue other businesses it does, but that's not my customer set. So again, every customer set has the right to determine the parameters of what's most important for them. You can't beat them with big data and say everybody we talk to is this way. Because what if we have the outlier, who's the one whose mom was in the middle? All of a sudden now it's a guy sitting there. It's like a weird morphing moment, right? Okay. It's like weird, okay. But the funny part about it is that these are things we have to discover because that's the magic of entrepreneurship. The exchange of value between 2 people for a resource that someone wants to give up so you can give them a benefit. And they will love you because that benefit you gave the value prop and had a positive experience that resulted in reinforcement that you did. And so they're willing to do what? Crowdsource you, be your raving fan, socially sneeze, tell other people. That's what gets people to do it. So here's the thing. Overt benefit and dramatic difference influence trial. Reason to believe and the adoption hurdles seed repeat purchase. That's the magic. Are you magic or who's the magic? Not me. Anyway, I've had an absolute blast. I'll hang around a little bit. I know we've got to go to some other events.
It's 10 minutes, but just stand, everybody.
Appreciate the openness. Thank you very much. Did you actually make this thing? Cool. Did you really spend $1 million? No. We will by the end of this. I really worked on some of this concept language and go talk to some builders and make sure that this really is what you want to do before you spend $1 million. That's scary money. Ever lost $1 million? Lost more than $1 million before? Dude, you look pretty good for that. I don't know what medications you're on. That's pretty awesome stuff.
There's plenty of beer to lead up yourself there. Yeah.
I saw you at the board of the incubator. That'll get my attention.
Yeah, that's great.
Thanks, Ted. You want him. Is it fair? Well, that's your
Yeah.